Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be going over the Thursday night football game, the showdown slate on DraftKings. Got a game between the Broncos and the Cardinals. I'll go ahead and say it, not the most exciting game, but there is a showdown slate. There's a $10 tournament with $1 million in total prizes, over $1 million, $250K to first, so there's plenty of money out there. So I'll still be playing this showdown slate even though it's not the most exciting game. I'll go through the player pool, talk about some of my favorite plays, the guys I feel like I'm going to be targeting in my lineups. Also, towards the end, we'll do a sort of breakdown of the roster construction, how we want to construct our lineups for this showdown slate, how we want to build our lineups, like who we want to play at captain, or who makes the most sense at captain. But before we do get started, guys, I would appreciate it if you would drop a like on the video. It does really mean a lot. If you aren't subscribed yet, make sure you do click that subscribe button down below. I make these showdown videos every week. I make one for Thursday night football, make one for Sunday night football, and then in my recap video, I go over the Monday night football showdown slate as well. So if you like these showdown slates, you're going to want to make sure you subscribe to the channel because I'm going to be bringing out plenty of videos on these. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Our most expensive player on this showdown slate is David Johnson. He's $11,200 if you play him in your flex. If you play him in your captain on DraftKings, he's $16,800. I think David Johnson, especially in cash games, makes a lot of sense as your captain on this slate. I know he hasn't been the same guy that he's been in the past, but he's still getting a lot of volume. He's getting 20 touches a game. I know last year we saw him getting like 25, close to 30 touches, running a ton of routes. He was pretty much like a Le'Veon Bell type of guy. He's not been that so far this year, but he's still been a pretty good overall fantasy running back. He is expensive. He's 11-2, but this slate and just this game in general, there aren't a lot of great standout plays. And I think David Johnson makes a lot of sense. We just want to plug him in at 11-2. Manny Sanders, you could definitely use in your captain spot. Manny Sanders has been really good with the Broncos. He's been the guy that Case Keenum has looked to a lot. Keenum's been targeting him a ton, especially the last 2 weeks. He's gotten 24 targets last 2 weeks, 16, 27 DraftKings points. I think DJ probably outscores Manny Sanders, and they're similarly priced, so I'll probably be playing DJ and captain over Manny Sanders. But Sanders definitely is in play at captain. Keenum you could go to at captain as well. I think you can always target the quarterbacks at captain, especially in cash games. I don't love the quarterbacks here, but Keenum's pretty cheap. He's $10K, and I think this is a good spot for him against the Cardinals. I do like going with DJ in your captain. So, like, say DJ scores 2 rushing touchdowns. That's probably going to mean that Case Keenum and the Broncos are going to be trailing. They're going to have to throw. So if DJ is doing a lot of work on the running side for the Cardinals, it's probably going to mean that Keenum and the Broncos are playing from behind. And like I said, Keenum's probably going to have to throw. This team doesn't have much of a running game. They've been involving their running backs like in a timeshare with Lindsey, with Royce Freeman. You got Devontae Booker there as well. We've seen last 2 weeks, Keenum's just been throwing the ball a ton. 51 attempts against the Jets, 41 attempts against the Rams, 25 and 23 DraftKings points. One thing that does concern me is that Case Keenum has been on the fence. I don't want to say he's been on the fence of getting benched, but Chad Kelly is like, I think Chad Kelly came in for a play last week to take a knee. Everybody was getting so excited. Like, I'm pretty sure Broncos fans want Chad Kelly to be starting. I am a little bit worried that if Keenum's struggling, if he starts this game off and throws some picks, maybe they bring Chad Kelly in. But the coach did come out and say that Case is our quarterback, so I'm rolling with Keenum. I expect him to play the whole game, but it wouldn't surprise me if he comes out and really struggling and throws a couple picks that they bench him and bring in Chad Kelly. Honestly, if you want to play Chad Kelly here as a dart throw, I wouldn't do it in a lot of lineups. Like, if you're playing 150, just put Chad Kelly in one lineup and the chance that Keenum gets benched for Kelly, like we saw kind of with Baker Mayfield coming in for Tyrod. I know that was sort of injury, or the reason Tyrod got benched was because of injury. He wasn't actually benched, but I wouldn't be surprised here if Keenum got benched, honestly. But I'll still be playing him. He just has a high floor. He's playing the whole game. He's going to get 15, 20 DraftKings points most likely. He makes sense as a captain as well. Josh Rosen, you could go to. He's $800 cheaper than Case Keenum, but I think I would prefer Keenum. Rosen hasn't been doing that great when it comes to fantasy. Hasn't thrown multiple touchdowns at all this year. Hasn't went for 300 yards. Keenum's just probably the better overall play. I think the way we want to attack the Cardinals in this game is most likely through the running game with DJ. So like at the top, it's mostly DJ, Keenum, and Sanders I'll be looking to. In the mid-range, in the 7K range, I really like Christian Kirk. He's $7,200. He's been getting a lot of targets from Josh Rosen. I expect Larry Fitzgerald to play this game. He is questionable. I expect him to play. and I expect him to be most likely guarded by Chris Harris, who is a really good corner, so that could leave Christian Kirk getting some extra targets here. He did see 7 targets last week against Minnesota and got 13 DraftKings points. Only got 4 targets against San Francisco, but did break a long touchdown. He got 18 DraftKings points the week before that. Christian Kirk's been a guy that Rosen's looked to. He's been getting a lot of targets. I do like him at 7,200. He does have some big playability, so it definitely makes sense in tournaments if you want to go to him. And obviously in the 6K range, there's nobody here because all these 6K guys are just backup quarterbacks. Like I said, if you're playing 150 lineups in like a low stakes tournament like the quarter or something or the mini max, throw Chad Kelly in one lineup just for the heck of it, but obviously I wouldn't go too crazy on that. Larry Fitzgerald at 6,800, I don't have a lot of interest in. I'd rather play Kirk at 7,200. Larry Fitz has just really been struggling this year. I don't really say it's him that's been struggling. He just really hasn't had a good quarterback. He's still getting close to 10 targets a game. I mean, 8 targets week 6, 7 targets week 4. But if he's guarded by Chris Harris, this could be a tough spot for Larry Fitzgerald. Plus, he's banged up as well. So I think I'll shy away from him. Now, talking about the value plays, where we can go for cheap, I think Cortland Sutton at 4,800 is for sure a value option you could target. He's not insanely expensive, and he's getting plenty of targets at this price tag to where he is playable. In his last 3 games, he's got 6 targets, and 2 of his last 3 games got 4 targets last week against the Rams. Sutton's a pretty good receiver. I know he was pretty good in college, and I know a lot of people are touting him as being like a breakout candidate eventually this year. Wouldn't surprise me if Sutton finds the end zone. He's 4,800. I do like him as a cheap receiver. I'll for sure have some exposure to him. I think both defenses are in play. Honestly, I'd probably prefer the Cardinals defense at home against Keenum if you want to play them. I probably wouldn't play Cardinals and Keenum in the same lineup. I guess you could, but I don't know if I'd be doing that. These defenses, though, they did get kind of priced up. 4,600 and 4,200 are pretty expensive for 2 defenses. But they're definitely in play. I'd prefer Sutton over the defenses, but if you need just a punt, I like the defenses on this slate. I think Ricky Seals-Jones at tight end at 4K is for sure in play against this Denver team. This Denver team does struggle a bit against tight ends. Ricky Seals-Jones got 6 targets last week, 69 yards, 11.9 DK points. If you think Larry Fitz struggles, it could be Christian Kirk and Seals-Jones seeing a lot of targets in this game. So playing them in the same lineup, I think makes a ton of sense if you want to do that. The kickers, especially as of late, has really been doing well. Honestly, if you want to play both kickers together, it's been the winning strategy lately. I know a lot of the tournament winning lineups have had both kickers in their lineup. 36 and 3,400, you could go to the kickers. Sub 3K for like our cheap punts, guys that maybe just find the end zone that we could play. You got the Denver tight end. I don't even know how to say this dude's name. Jeff Hurryman, I think is how you say it. He's been getting 5-6 targets a game at 2,800. He's for sure in play, especially if he finds the end zone. Could be a really good value at 2,800. I do like him if you're trying to go cheap. Devontae Booker, I'll probably be shying away from. Sub 2K, I'm not going to be playing any of these guys. The cheapest guy that I like on this slate is Hurryman at 2,800. So that's really it for like the breakdown of the player pool, the guys I'm interested in. Now let's sort of talk about roster construction, how we could build a lineup. So for cash games, I think you want to play DJ in your captain. I think you want to play one of the quarterbacks in your flex spots as well. So if we went DJ, Keenum, and then let's see if we can play Keenum and Sanders together. So if we did that, that'd leave us 41-33. We're obviously going to need a cheap play. You got Hurryman down here at 2,800 who you could go to. If you play both tight ends, if you play Ricky Seals-Jones at 4K, that'd leave you 5,600. You could play Royce Freeman if you wanted to do that. You could play Sutton. If you played Sutton, that'd leave you $800 in extra salary. So maybe you could upgrade one of these positions. You could take out Ricky Seals-Jones and maybe play the defense if you want to do that. But I think this sort of might be like a cash game build, sort of how you would build a cash game lineup, at least the strategy you would go to. I think you definitely want to jam in DJ, Sanders, and Keenum, at least 2 of the 3 in cash games. In tournaments, we'll talk about a tournament strategy, how we can construct a tournament lineup. For cash, I think you play DJ in your captain, and then you build around him. Tournaments, you can obviously go cheap with a captain play, like say DJ scores 20 points, say Sanders, Keenum, they all score around that same amount. But then there's a guy down here like, say Cortland Sutton goes for 6 catches, 50 yards, and a touchdown. He scores 17 points. At 7,200, he's honestly the best captain play. So say that happens, say DJ, Sanders, Keenum, all these guys score around 20 points. None of them crush. And then you get Sutton down here who doesn't score 20 points but scores a little bit less than that. He's so much cheaper that he makes a lot of sense as a tournament captain play. and then you can go pretty much jam in whoever you want. You could play DJ, Sanders, Keenum. You honestly could maybe play Rosen too. Well, no, you couldn't play Rosen. That'd really thin you out. You could definitely play one of the other expensive guys, or you could play Demaryius Thomas. That would almost we'd be 400 short of Jeff Heuerman. Let's see what else we could do. If you wanted to play Kirk, we could play Kirk. That'd leave us enough for one of the kickers. If you wanted to play Heuerman down here at 2,800, that makes a lot of sense. Let's see. If you think Larry Fitz has a good game here, you could play Fitz. That'd leave you 4K. Then you could play Ricky Seals-Jones. So that would be sort of a tournament build. I think in tournaments, you always want to try and go cheap at captain. You don't have to, but it definitely allows you to get so much more at captain. I think for cash games, captain, you want to pay up, at least on this slate. I know there were some other slates where going cheap at captain made sense in cash games. I don't know if this is one of those slates, especially with a lot of value I see. I think it just makes sense to jam in DJ in your captain spot. But tournament captain plays, obviously the top 3 guys are always in play in tournaments for captain. Also, like Kirk, who has that big playability, makes a lot of sense at captain. Down here, Cortland Sutton at 7,200, I think makes sense at captain. He'd probably be the cheapest captain I would play, because I don't think you really need to go any cheaper than that, because then you'd just be leaving a ton of salary on the table. So I think that's really it for this showdown slate, guys. Sort of talked about roster construction, the player pool in general. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. Hopefully it did help you. If you have any questions about this showdown slate, if you want to leave your thoughts on this showdown slate, who you think you'll be playing, who you think has any big games in this game, feel free to leave them down below. I'm always looking at comments and always replying to comments. Always love to see your guys' feedback. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Make sure you drop a like. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Follow me on Twitter as well, at the DFS_GOAT if you haven't. I would really appreciate that. Also, my NFL video for Week 7 went up earlier today. Make sure you check that out. After this video goes up, I would say somewhat later tonight, about 7, 8 o'clock, I will be making my NBA video for Wednesday's slate. I think 10 or 11 games on Wednesday for NBA. So if you're playing NBA DFS this season, you're definitely going to want to subscribe. I'm going to be bringing NBA videos daily along with NFL. Just a ton of content coming for you guys. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed, and good luck on this showdown slate. Peace.